In this week's episode, I want to go over a little bit of the background of our reason for our trip through the Central United States this year. One of the things Karen and I like to do is visit presidential libraries. We've visited 4 so far, but there's a number more to visit. So we planned this trip to visit 5 presidential libraries in the Central United States. However, when we left on our trip, things didn't go as planned. We're at the Clinton Presidential Library, but it's closed due to COVID. Of the 5 presidential libraries we plan on visiting, the only one remaining open was the Ford Museum in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That was where we had our hopes set on finally visiting one presidential library. Here we are at another presidential library that is closed. This is the Gerald Ford Museum in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And like all the presidential libraries we've been to on this trip, it's closed due to COVID. So we'll see the outside of the building. There's lots of nice statues and stuff around, artwork, but not going inside. Sorry, Mr. Ford, I don't get to see your library either. But I did get a chance to shake hands with your wife. She seemed like a nice lady. Since we were there, we thought we'd take a look around downtown Grand Rapids, including the eponymous rapids the town's named after. There were some interesting sculptures downtown, including this Tin Man. And we decided to check out the Grand Rapids Public Museum. This was a cool display, toys that were collected by children of each generation of the 20th century in America. So this would have been the greatest generation that fought in World War II, and this would be the silent generation. They were too young to fight in World War II. Then we have the baby boomers. I personally remember some of those toys myself. The Tinker Toys, the Spirograph, Slinkies, Lincoln Logs. Then we have Generation X, which would be my generation, so I certainly remember those. That was Trivial Pursuit and Soccer Boppers and Rubik's Cubes and Star Wars figures. I had all of those. Here we're at Indiana Dunes National Park in Indiana on Lake Michigan. We're going to camp here for a couple days in the state park, but it's right next to the national park. And we're going to have a look around at the national park here. We're at the National Lake Shore of Indiana Dunes National Park, so it's Indiana Dunes National Lake Shore. We're here in front of a historic beach pavilion.
Yeah.
So you can see it looks kind of cool. It was built, I don't know what time, a long time ago, maybe we'll find that out.
Around the 1920s.
Okay, built in the 1920s. And behind that is the lake. We're going to show you that in a minute. That's Lake Michigan. And you can see across the lake Chicago. So even though we're in Indiana, you can see Chicago across the lake. It's a pretty windy day, so the waves are pretty high, so we won't be able to talk to you when we get on the other side of this building because it's blocking a lot of the breeze. But right now we'll show you the building. Across the way there, I don't know if you can see it, Chicago. You would think this is the ocean. These waves come in instead of one of the small, not the largest of the Great Lakes. That's the largest of the Great Lakes. We're hiking on this trail in Indiana Dunes National Park. This trail is supposed to go through all the environments they have here. So we have went through a forest. Now we're going through a bog, marshy area. So they have this platform, a boardwalk that goes through it, so we don't, trample through the trees or get all wet or whatever. So we'll see what other environments we have coming up. We're going up a sandy trail now. It's up a pretty steep incline. It's a little bit different than where we were before, but it's not too bad. At least the sand is nice and cushiony under your feet.
And partially wet.
So this is a swampy area that goes in this trail. So we're not on the boardwalk here, but the swamp's next to us, so it shows you what the background looks like. I don't know if you can see it on video, but that's a pretty steep climb coming up. And this is the walk down to the beach through the dunes. So the last couple environments of our walk. This climb down to the beach is actually a pretty steep hill down in the sand. I mean, it's hard to tell from these videos, but it was a pretty good walk down through pretty thick sand. Here we are in the last environment on our walk. It's kind of a neat trail, like through a bunch of different environments. It's about 2 miles out, so we'll be about 2 miles back. in Indiana Dunes National Park, and this is a Century of Progress Historic District. What this is after the Chicago World's Fair in 1933, they had a lot of these houses built, which were like state-of-the-art houses in 1933. And after the World's Fair was over, they moved them all here, and now they've been restored and they're set up just like they were during the World Fair.
They took them on a barge across the lake.
Took them across the lake on a barge, okay.
Yeah.
This house is the Rosestone House. This was one of the first prefab houses. So they built all the structural work was done with steel beams and built in the factory, and then just shipped and assembled on site. And it was covered in these new state-of-the-art technology Rosestone panels. Rosestone construction panels at the time were a groundbreaking building material. They were designed to never need repair or replacement or painting. It was kind of a composite of a bunch of different stones, and they laid them on in panels on the steel structure. Unfortunately, after about 10 years on the lake here, they all started degrading and deteriorating, and so they had to pull them all off and replace them with a different type of sandstone panel. So turns out that the rosewood stones weren't that great to begin with, but in 1933 they thought it was really state-of-the-art. This house was made of frameless construction using steel and porcelain panels linked together with little clips. So it's considered one of the first and the only one of the showcase of homes mass-produced, affordable by the middle-class house. Had no interior frame. It was all snapped together in place, and it was quite a sensation to show because the outside was porcelain, which made it really shiny compared to wooden homes at the time. Under the idea, once again, it didn't need painting or repairs. Okay. This is the Florida house. It was actually paid for by the state of Florida, built commissioned by the state of Florida to lure people to the Sunshine State in the 1930s. And so it had this bright pink decor, which became a standard in Florida as an Art Deco style. It's designed to have outdoor and indoor living, so you can see the whole top is like a terrace. People live outdoor. It has big windows all around to bring the outside in. It was actually the most expensive of all the house built. It was $15,000 at the time. Considering the last house we looked at was only $4,500, you can see the difference in price. But it was designed for more wealthy people to draw them to Florida, which evidently it did, because then in the 40s and 50s, Florida became a place to go for wealthy retirees. So this house was designed by the state of Florida to bring people to Florida. This house, House of Tomorrow, was America's first glass house. The architect had noticed that even in the cold winter, when the workers were working inside in a glassed greenhouse, they take their jackets off because it's warm. He thought, you know, I could probably make a glass house to reduce heating bills in the winter. So he made this house with the whole southern end out of glass panels, and so it was designed to reduce your heating bills in the winter. Unfortunately, during the World Fair, during the summer, it got so hot in there that it overwhelmed the other thing of Tomorrow he was demonstrating, which was the brand new thing of air conditioning in your house. So the air conditioning couldn't keep up with the heat, so this house was really hot. The other thing he did, which didn't touch on, was the ground floor there is an airplane hangar. It's supposed to park an airplane in there. So during the World's Fair, the demonstration, they had an airplane parked in there, a private airplane. I don't think either of those two trends really took off, but it was one of the first houses to use all glass walls to support heating the house in the winter, and I think that did kind of get used in other parts of architecture.
Thanks for joining us on our trip this week. If you like our travels and would like to see more of them, consider subscribing to our channel. The Horizon awaits.